The world's a dangerous place. Get the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. A laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way.
I'm a gun owner.
Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of Gun Talk.
I don't think that guns are scary things.
Visit us online at www.guntalk.com. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN, 866-825-5486. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, back to Gun Talk.
All right, back with you here. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in. Tom at guntalk.com for emails. Over on Twitter at Gun Talk. A lot of things going on. You can also enter for a chance to win a really neat Smith & Wesson revolver in .44 Magnum. It's a great hunting revolver. Go to guntalk.com/win, W-I-N, for a chance to win that one. Again, 866-TALK-GUN will get you in there. By the way, we're looking for stories from mothers, about mothers, calls from mothers. If you have a story about your mom, or if you're a mom who wants to tell us about a gun that you carry, a gun that you own, or just basically any story about guns and shooting, we're all about that. Mother stories, by the way, get the Brownell's $10 gift card sent to you. So, well, we got an incentive working for you there. Jason has called in and wants to give us a little bit more information. He's in Fort Smith, Arkansas, on this mall shooting, I guess, outside of a theater. Was that right, Jason?
Correct. It happened in front of the Malco Theaters at the Central Mall here in Fort Smith.
Okay. What are you hearing locally there?
I read a couple of Facebook posts and threads. One of them was posted by the local Channel 40 News and commented on by one of the members of Arkansas Open Carry. So we're all aware of the open carry law in Arkansas and fighting to keep it that way and whatnot.
Right.
But anyway, there are signs posted at the theater that they are a gun-free zone.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the quoted reasonings for that by Malco management is police are just seconds away, and we don't want guns in here. Posting a sign helps keep criminals out.
Well, they're right. Police are seconds away. And in this case, there actually were a couple of off-duty police officers who were literally seconds away, and they got there seconds after it was all over.
Right.
And so, yeah, there really are just a minute or two away, and so they can get there right after
everything's over.
You get killed or you get abducted, and they'll show up and go, wow, man, we should have been there about 60 seconds sooner. It's all going to be over in a matter of 5 to 10 seconds. That's the whole deal. That's what people have got to figure out. And so what you're telling me is what I heard is that these 3 people who were going to the movie, 2 of them had firearms, and it's a good thing because they were assaulted out in the parking lot. Was it in the parking lot or was it actually in the mall?
Yes, it was in the parking lot in front of the theater.
Okay. And if they had not had guns, this guy who had a gun would have shot one or more of them. And so they were able to protect themselves and this lady. And of course, they were on their way to see a movie in a gun-free zone. A huge attaboy to them. And I know people are saying, well, Tom, you're suggesting that people should just ignore that sign. Would I say such a thing? You bet your bippy I would.
I would.
What you got to do. Do what you got to do.
Absolutely.
It's okay. We have, let's see, a fine or some kind of, and it depends on the state what the regulations are and what the penalty would be. But understand that it's up to you to take care of yourself and your family. So listen, I appreciate that, Jason. Thank you for the update on that information. I want to get to our guest right now. One of the things we're talking about was Mother's Day. A lot of families get started in hunting with youngsters and taking the whole family out with squirrel hunting. I love squirrel hunting. It is, it can be a real nice family activity. You take kids out. You can do it as a family activity, and then you go out and cook them. I've done big squirrel hunts where we end up cooking a squirrel mulligan, which is a type of stew at the end, assuming you get some, which that's the whole goal out there. But Joe Wilson is joining us now talking about the Squirrel Cook Off, World Champion Squirrel Cook Off. Hey, Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Tom. I'm glad to be on the radio with you today.
Well, tell me about the Squirrel Cook Off. This was associated with a squirrel hunt?
Well, for the last 3 years, we've been holding the World Champion Squirrel Cook Off in Bentonville, Arkansas. Mm-hmm. And it come about for the sole reason to bring attention to the sport. Squirrel hunting has been on a rapid decline in the last 15, 20 years. Big game has really taken a hold, and a lot of our youth are missing out on the opportunities, the learning opportunities that small game hunting, particularly squirrel hunting, has to offer. So
right.
In order for me to get some attention, I have to do something that's not always ordinary, and I come to find out if you mix the word Arkansas and squirrel in the same sentence, you'll get all kinds of media attention. So,
okay.
So since I've started the event, last year we had the front page of the Wall Street Journal, and I didn't have to rob anybody, steal any money, or cause any sort of violence to do so. So that's a big plus. They gave us a front page article all about cooking squirrels on the Wall Street Journal, and
son of a gun.
And we've had everything from Good Morning America to the Kelly Ripa show our event. And so basically, like I say, I'm also the president of the nation's largest squirrel hunting organization, Squirrels Unlimited, and we have about 1,500 members across the country. And we have this goal of getting kids back involved in the outdoors and trying to do it on the cheap. If you're a parent and you take your child, you're a novice, you take them to a Cabela store and look around, and you see you're going to drop $10,000 to look like the guys on TV, it might intimidate you to get into the hunting sports. And to be honest with you, with squirrel hunting, you can do it with everything from an air rifle to a 22 to a shotgun. Some guys use archery. And so it's a really economical sport. Most states have extremely long seasons and very good bag limits and possession limits. So there's opportunities out there.
Yeah, there are states that have squirrel hunting available in the spring, not just a fall activity.
Right. Our spring season opens up this next week. Missouri's just opened up. Tennessee's just opened up. A lot of states do. Here in Arkansas, our season's open all but 2 months out of the year.
Wow.
So, I kind of call it the squirrel hunting diet program for kids. If you got a kid that's a little on the heavy side, you give them a 22 and a bunch of woods, they'll lose some weight.
Walking around out there. Now, let me ask you, you had a cook-off, so what was there like a winning recipe?
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, over the past several years, we've cooked everything from squirrel pizza, squirrel tamales, squirrel raviolis. Last year's winners cooked squirrel sliders. They're little squirrel hamburgers, and the previous year was squirrel sausage, almost like a bratwurst made out of squirrel. And what's unique about our event is 100% of your meal is made on site. You have to chop everything, process short of skinning. You have to debone and prep all your squirrel. Nothing can be marinated or tenderized.
Okay.
You got 2.5 hours to cook it, and 80% of the meat used in the dish has to be squirrel. And so we've had some people make squirrel dessert dishes.
Oh, yeah, son of a gun. There you go. Squirrel twirl ice cream is what Jim in the studio here is saying.
You're right on track, man. There's some great recipes out there. And, Tom, squirrel has been served for generations, especially during hard times, depressions, because squirrel was the only thing left. They repopulate a couple times a year. They don't need a whole heck of a lot to survive. They're in ample numbers all across the country. So every time we were in a recession, depression, wartime, people were out looking up in trees shooting squirrels. And so I'm just trying to bring that back.
I hear you. Well, you could come hunt around my bird feeders in my backyard. I got squirrels galore out there. Hey, Joe, tell them where to find out more about what you're up to here.
Hey, you could go online to squirrelcookoff.com. You could enter to join us at the cook-off, or go to Squirrels Unlimited for a free membership.
All right, squirrelcookoff.com. That'll work. That's great family activity. Great way to get mom out there with the kids, shooting little squirrels. Appreciate that, Joe. Thank you. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham. This is Gun Talk.
what's that?
It's my Trijicon.
What's a Trijicon?
Only the best rifle scope in the world.
Says who?
How about the U.S. Marine Corps, Special Forces, Navy SEALs? You heard of these guys?
Sure.
Well, they're all using Trijicons.
Let me see it. Wow, this is really sharp.
And a lot of professional hunters are using Trijicon, too. You probably caught it on some TV and radio shows.
Yeah, I have heard some of them swear by their Trijicon.
I swear by it.
You know, I could have been a Navy SEAL.
Well, the closest you're going to get now is buying a Trijicon.
Hey.
Trijicon is the brand of rifle scopes that more and more hunters are swearing by. That's because every Trijicon is handcrafted using the finest optic materials. The bright aiming point can guarantee you a great hunt from dawn to dusk. Get your Trijicon at a dealer near you or visit them on the web at Trijicon.com. That's TRIJICON.com. Trijicon. Brilliant aiming solutions.
There's a rise in home invasions in America, and you need to be ready. Ready to protect yourself and your family. The bedside backup from Crossbreed Holsters keeps your gun at your bedside, ready to go. It also folds flat for easy storage and travel. Take it with you and use with any hotel bed. To see more, go to crossbreedholsters.com. That's crossbreedholsters.com. The bedside backup is not a child safety device.
In my world, there are no helpless victims. There is no weaker sex. In my world, pain comes from fear, and fear is not an option. But my world is just like yours. Only difference, how I choose to defend myself.
Introducing the Carry On series from Taurus, the ultimate collection of concealed carry firearms designed for discreet, reliable personal protection. Visit TaurusUSA.com to learn more.
Carry On.
One machine, one operator. Each machine is run by a single pair of hands. Hands that spend all day, every day, learning the machine inside and out. We don't believe in quotas. The point is crafting faultless ammunition, no matter how long that takes. It's not quick or easy. Being the best never is. Black Hills Ammunition. It started with our hands.
During May, one of our Gun Talk listeners can win the Smith & Wesson Handgun Hunting Giveaway. Grand prize, the Smith & Wesson Performance Center 44 Magnum Revolver. Enter to win before May 30th at guntalk.com/win. Now, back to Tom.
All right, it is Mother's Day. We're looking for calls from mothers about mothers, stories about your mom, going hunting with her, shooting with her, your mom that had a defensive gun in the house, how you were raised, stories. Yeah, it's pretty much anything that has to do with moms. And obviously, we love to get stories or calls from mothers. If you have a gun for self-defense, love to know that. If you're a hunter, please share those stories with us. I'd like to get that. My mom was a hunter. Gosh, she went with Dad all over the world. South Africa, Argentina, Rainy Pass, Alaska, Glen Eagles, shooting in Scotland, a lot of different places. There were a few times, Dad was a really, 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 really good shot. But there were a few times when Mom was able to beat him. Not the first time she went dove hunting, though. Not the first time. Doves are hard. Doves are difficult to hit. And you also have the issue of target identification. They were hunting doves, and Dad had to go back to the truck for something. And he hears several shots over where Mom is. When he gets back, he says, "Well, how'd you do?" She said, "Well, I missed a couple, but I got several of these, but they're funny looking." Yeah, they were. They were funny looking. They had yellow breasts. Doves don't have yellow breasts, by the way, but meadowlarks do. She ended up becoming an avid birder, a really, really top-notch birder, and definitely knew the difference. But not at that time, and much to the detriment of a few meadowlarks. But she ended up being a pretty good shot, so there you go. You got to shoot all of them if you're hungry. So what are you going to do? Let's see. I want to get line 3, Bobby, Spring Creek in Nevada. Oh, Bobby. Oh, okay. Let's go with 4, Adrian in Houston, Texas. Line 4. Hey, Adrian.
Hi, Tom. How are you? That's a great show.
Thank you.
Sorry I don't have a Mother's Day story, but I had a question
question about lasers. I bought a nice green laser from my AR, and attached it to the bottom rail.
Okay.
But my question is, I noticed it will only align, because I have a scope on it as well, so I align the dot to where the scope hits the target. But obviously, if it's a little closer in, the dot is not on line. If it's further out, like out to 100 yards or so, the dot doesn't align. So it really only aligns.
What you're describing is called parallax. If the laser was going straight out of the bore, then it would go pretty much close to the same place that the bullet does. But you're starting the laser at a distance away from the bore, so you have the line of the bore and the line of the laser, and they are different, so they have to intersect somewhere. So you have to choose the distance at which they are going to intersect. If you say I'm going to use it for self-defense and it's got to be 20 feet, then you sight in your laser so that the bullet hits the laser point at 20 feet, understanding that once those two lines cross, the bullet path and the laser, now they are diverging again, and out at 100 yards, your laser is going to be pointing higher. If you got the laser mounted below the barrel, it's got to point up a bit to intersect the bullet path. Then the laser is going to be higher, the bullet is going to be hitting lower than the laser. If you had it, you can move it up, it kind of depends, but it just, you know what, it's just parallax. There's nothing magical, it's just physics, and you can't have it perfect. You just have to say, okay, this is what it is. And here's what most of us do, is you sight it in for where you think you probably are going to use it. If it's a self-defense gun, probably 20 feet, something like that. And then you say, now if I needed to use this at 50 yards, I'm going to go out and shoot it at 50 yards and find out what the offset is. And I'll know that I have to hold high, low, whatever it is, to make a hit at 50 yards. Same for 100 yards. Essentially, you can only have it sighted in at one distance. And it's going to be off shorter than that, and it's going to be off longer than that. Not a lot, but some. And that's just the nature of the beast. There's nothing else, nothing to do about it. That's called parallax. Look, I appreciate that. I hope you guys sound like you're having a great party over there for Mother's Day. Hope the kids are doing great. Let's see. Bobby's back on line 3. Hello, Bobby. How you doing?
Hey, Tom. Good to talk with you. It's a good day. Hey, I learned to shoot from a mom who was single for a while and wanted her 2 oldest daughters to be able to protect themselves. So I started out with a Ruger Single 6, and now my husband tells me I need to get my own safe.
So you've gone well beyond a single revolver then.
Hey, we've gone up. I went from that to the 357, and now we've just expanded just a little bit of everything.
Oh, my gosh. So,
but I did have go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Well, I did have you had a gentleman on earlier that was looking for a concealed holster for his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And not a big fan of the belly or the ankle holsters, but we did try one of the flashbang holsters, and after being apprehensive about it at first, getting used to it, it's a very comfortable holster, and you've always got that weapon with you.
Okay, for those who don't know, I'm going to let you have the floor on this one, Bobby. I'm going to back away, okay? Because you know why. Go ahead. Tell them what it is.
A flashbang holster is one that hooks to the bra, and it conceals, and I've been able to have that holster on. It's made by flashbangholster.com is their website. Mm-hmm. And once you get used to that holster being a part of your anatomy, it's very comfortable. I've worn it, and my husband hasn't been able to tell me that he knows that I have that weapon on. It didn't print.
What kind of gun are you carrying?
For this one right now, what I've got is the PK380. Okay,
so you've got a small 380, a Ruger LCP would work, PK380, something along those lines. It's got to be that small to fit in there. Now, obviously, the particular build of the woman is going to make a difference. Do you find, and I'm finding myself getting into very dangerous territory here, but do you find that the type of clothing, the type of bra makes a difference?
Absolutely. Better quality bra. And you're obviously not going to be wearing a form-fitting shirt. I'm short in torso, so that 380 is obviously bears factor for the selection. But also wearing that holster encourages women as they get older to support your posture correctly and not slouch. But quality bra, good shirt.
Interesting. Okay. How do you carry most of the time?
Yes.
Okay. What was it that got you originally thinking you wanted to carry a gun?
My husband's prior law enforcement, and then with my mom raising three girls, the two older ones, just some of the environments that we're in a rural area out in Nevada, and you can run across some unsavory individuals.
And, a small gun is better than no gun. It's like 1,000,000 times better than not having anything. Have you ever had an opportunity where you thought you were going to have to pull your gun?
Yes.
Really?
They're not necessarily with this carrying other methods, like with a purse, but with some of the stuff that we do in our careers and stuff. I've been on events where I have definitely felt threatened, and simply the hammer or the slide making that sound has disengaged the problem.
Wow. Okay. All righty. Well, look, thank you so much for your insight, for your experience. It's an area that I can offer almost no contributory experience on that. So I got to take your word for it.
And you have a great show, and I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, and happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, sir.
Great call. Oh, wow. Yeah, if you didn't catch it, it's called Flash Bang Holster. It's a clever name, but I have had several women say that they use that holster, and it works for them. Tell you what, if you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We're going to be able to get to you because we only got about a minute left. No time to get you in. In about a half an hour, we're going to be talking to Mike McNett from Double Tap Ammo about what's going on with those guys. And I want him to tell you the story. He got a guy who had never fired a rifle before. The first time he pulls the trigger on a rifle, he connects at 1/4 mile. Mike is a really good shooter and a really good shooting coach, and it's a great story. But it also points out the fact that with a good instructor, you can make some amazing shots. You can pick this stuff up, which kind of brings us full circle back to the whole idea of moms and shooting. And if you are a husband and you want to teach your wife to shoot, do so carefully, and you may want to consider getting her to a certified firearms instructor, at least beginning. Chances are she's going to end up being a better shot than you are. That's happened more than once. And everybody gets a kick out of it. Even the guys like that. 866-TALK-GUN.
One of Talker Magazine's 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. You're listening to Gun Talk, heard every week at this time on great radio stations across America. Stay tuned. Gun Talk is coming right back. Covering all aspects of gun ownership every week on this fine radio station. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, just went out and checked the ribs on the smoker. Everything's looking good. So far, so good. Yeah, we're doing that for our Mother's Day here. What are you doing for Mother's Day? Give us a holler, 866-TALK-GUN. Let me know. Of course, we're looking for stories about moms who were shooters, are shooters, gun owners. Maybe do a little hunting if you are a mother who likes to hunt. How'd you get into that? And do you find that people are surprised when they discover that you're a hunter? Or do they think it's cool? I don't know. I don't know what the reaction typically is on that. Just curious. 866-TALK-GUN. Get you in here. Line 2, Frank's with us. Talkeetna, Alaska. Hello, Frank.
Howdy do, Tom. I'm calling in because I've had to assist two ladies selecting holsters, and so I have a very short list of websites that I've checked from time to time.
All right. What is your top website you like to send them to?
Well, I like to send them to the NRA website and have them look, coincidentally, at the flashbang holster.
Oh, okay. The one we just got the call on, yeah.
Exactly. She said it much better than I could have. There's cozyholsters.com, packingpretty.com.
Packing Pretty, yeah. Cornered Cat does that.
Yeah, one. Yeah. And thewellarmedwoman.com.
Thewellarmedwoman.com.
And what any person can do is type into the search machine woman plus holsters, and they'll come up with pages of it.
Okay. And, for those who don't know, they're trying to figure out what's the big deal. Women dress differently. They have different requirements. And for those who haven't figured it out, they're shaped differently from men. And a lot of times a man's holster doesn't fit or doesn't fit well or is uncomfortable for a woman. And so there are changes that need to be made. But to your point, there are a lot of holsters and systems being made now for women to carry because we have the numbers I'm getting is that roughly a third of the people getting their carry permits today are women, which is huge, huge, huge. I mean, it used to be, in the 5% range. So it's massive, the increase. So with this many women carrying guns or trying to find a way to carry guns, people have figured out, hey, there's a market here, and so the market has responded. So that is great. Frank, thank you for those websites. Good information. I appreciate that. Line 4, Philip is in Bismarck, North Dakota, way up there. Hello, Philip. What are you trying to do, put on a gun show?
Good afternoon, Tom. Happy Mother's Day.
Absolutely.
Good to talk to you. Yeah, we have an organization here that we'd like to see what it might take to put on a gun show, if not a gun show, a gun swap meet or whatever. It's on the edge of the Bakken, and there's a lot of guys up here that hunt and are outdoorsmen, and everybody gets together and talk about guns all the time, but it'd be nice to see some of these things that people say they have stashed in their closets and garages and behind their pickup seats.
Let me ask you, is anybody doing gun shows in that area now?
Yeah, I suppose in the center of the state, Bismarck and Fargo, Minot, Grand Forks perhaps, Dickinson, but we're in a very small, let's say a small town, kind of out in the middle of, farther away from these places.
Right. Now,
so, yeah,
you
there are
mentioned
gun shows that bring in big sponsors and people with big booths and everybody that has tables full of, crap in some instances. But
it is. It absolutely is. It's a lot of it's just junk. It's horrible. It's like a flea market. I will swear I don't go to gun shows. I just don't. It's depressing to go through and see all the garbage that's being put out there. Now, I will make an exception. A lot of times the state Rifle and Pistol Association or the state gun group will hold 1 or 2 gun shows a year. These are not the commercial gun shows that are held all the time. And I like going to those because you usually end up with better quality material. Let me ask you mentioned putting on a gun show for fundraising. What kind of fundraising are we talking about?
Oh, just we have actually I'm a member of the Masons. And we always put together fundraisers to raise money for scholarship funds.
Okay.
Or various things.
Well, here's what I would do. I would go probably first check with the NRA and see if they've got any suggestions on how to put on a gun show.
Okay.
Essentially, you hire a hall, you get a place. You can start off real small if you wanted to. Sell tables to individuals. You need security. You got to have the police involved. They got to be, there are. You probably should go to some gun shows and see how they're run if you haven't, because there are some particulars about running gun shows and how you want to set that up. But I don't, sure, you got insurance like you would have with any kind of event, and make sure you got insurance to cover the event and the people putting it on. But, the other thing you may want to do, let me throw this thought out to you. You may want to contact one of the companies that puts on gun shows in other parts of the state and say, hey, guys, we would like to do a gun show up here, and we'd like to partner with you on it and use our contacts and help it, and we'll get a portion of the proceeds. And that way, you get somebody that already knows how to put on a gun show doing this thing.
Right. Well, that sounds very good, Tom.
All right. Well, look, I wish you luck with it. I think it's a I like the cause and putting on a gun show like that, especially up there in an area where you've got all these folks working on in the oil fields. You got a lot of folks with guns, and frankly, there's a lot of money rolling around up there. So I'm guessing that your turnout would probably be pretty decent up there. So I would say just go do it, man. Put that thing on. But go into it with your eyes open. It's a business. Make sure you're covered. Get the insurance lined up, and really, really would consider teaming up with somebody who's already putting on gun shows and knows what's involved with that. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN, 866-TALK-GUN. It's Mother's Day, so we're looking for the stories about your mom. Hunter, shooter, Did she ever have to use a gun in self-defense? What did she tell you about guns when you were growing up? 866-TALK-GUN.
You bet your life on your defense ammo. Get the proven performance of Nosler bullets in the new Nosler Defense Ammunition, featuring the same technology as the famous AccuBond line. Polymer tipper hollow point, bonded performance handgun bullets for weight retention and barrier penetration. Available only in Nosler Defense Ammunition in 9mm, 40, and 45 caliber. Also available in 223 with a 64-grain bullet. Visit Nosler.com.
Have you ever held a Walther? Walther handguns are an extension of your hand. From the moment you hold the ergonomic grip of a Walther, you feel the difference. Today, Walther continues its long tradition of expertise in firearm design with the introduction of 3 incredible new handguns. The smooth PPQM2, the tough PPX, and the cool PPKS22. Log on now at waltherarms.com. Walther at your favorite retailer.
Hi, this is Doug Koenig, professional shooter and winner of over 60 national and world championships. If you shoot an AR, you need to be running the new Sharps Reliabolt. This bolt is amazing. The Reliabolt was fired 7,500 consecutive times by an independent test facility, jam-free. If you need the peace of mind and safety of not worrying about a jam, then buy the Sharps Reliabolt. Sharps Reliabolt is available at srcarms.com and tell them Doug sent you.
Looking for shooting instruction but don't know where to go? Well, we have it, and you can access hours of training and safety videos, which you can watch on your home computer. On GunTalkTV.com, we have top competitive shooters, the best in self-defense trainers, and folks who have hunted all over the world, helping you learn which gun to buy, how to use it, how to store it safely, and everything else you need to be a safe and competent shooter. We also have gun makers showing off their newest rifles, shotguns, and handguns. Doesn't matter if you're a veteran shooter or a complete beginner. You'll find what you need at GunTalkTV.com. You can check it out for free, and you can get full access for only $5.95 a month. That gives you unlimited access to hundreds of videos, and we're adding more all the time. Run the videos over and over to make sure you understand what's being said. Skip around. You're in control. Get smarter, shoot better. Visit GunTalkTV.com.
The Ruger American Rifle is a 100% American-made firearm that offers outstanding performance at a great price. Available in standard size and compact models, it features power bedding integral bedding blocks, a Ruger Marksman adjustable trigger, a flush-fit 4-round rotary magazine, and a 3-lug bolt with 70-degree throw. Compact models feature a shorter length of pull and a shorter barrel for a reduction in overall length of more than 5 inches. The Ruger American Rifle, another rugged and reliable firearm from Ruger.
Gun Talk encourages you to support the local sporting goods store, gun stores, ATV dealers, and other local businesses in your area who advertise on this station and Gun Talk. Only together can we protect our rights. You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk.
We're so much better now in terms of understanding that guns need to fit you, whether it's a handgun or shotgun, rifle, whatever it is. My mom was 5 foot zip. She was barely 5 feet tall. And Dad did what he could do. He cut the stocks off on her shotguns. Typical length of pull on an adult man shotgun is about 14 inches, the length of pull being the distance from the back of the butt plate or the recoil pad to the trigger. And he would cut them down to 13 inches, but that wasn't nearly enough. So one time when he was out of town, she took a couple of her shotguns to the gunsmith, and she had them cut down to 12 inches. I mean, little short things. And all of a sudden, she started shooting great. So I have one of those. When I was growing up, I was just a little kid. I took her Winchester Model 12 pump shotgun in 20 gauge, has a big old polychoke thing out of the end, and that was perfect. Still got that one. That's our kind of our setup loaner gun for getting kids started. So now that we have lightweight or light recoiling 20 gauge loads, I like 20 gauge pumps. I mean, semi-autos are great because they do suck up some of the recoil, but there's no reason not to use a pump, because the recoil light, if you will, reduced recoil loads are so good these days, and you can still break targets with them. So just my thought for you, okay? Our 866 Talk Gun will get you in here. Line 2, I want to talk to Holly in Fresno, California. Hello, Holly, how are you?
Well, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Happy Mother's Day. Right back at you.
Yeah.
So you want to become a gun owner?
Yes, I'm 72 years old, and I've never owned a gun, and I think I shot a rifle once about 50 years ago, and that's all I know. I've been wanting to get a gun for a long time, and, everybody's got an opinion of what I ought to get, and they're all different. And a couple of things I want to tell you first is that I don't like real loud noises, and I've been around people firing guns that were really loud, so I don't want one that's really loud. And also, I don't have a whole lot of hand strength because I do have a little bit of arthritis in my hand.
Okay.
So what do you suggest?
All right. Here's what I suggest. It's going to be a little bit involved, but I think that what we need is a plan, not a gun. Because a gun, first of all, let me ask you, at 72,
why do I want it?
Yeah, exactly. You know where I was going. What's going on?
Well, I live alone. I'm a widow, and I have a big house, and there's Fresno's not a exactly safe place.
Okay.
And I see the world just getting more and more dangerous all the time. So first of all, I would just like it for protection in the home, but I also see a day coming where, I might want to carry it with me, too.
Okay.
Because out on the streets, it's not particularly good either. There's guys accosting women in parking lots, and so I wouldn't mind eventually having a concealed weapon.
All right, here's what I'm going to suggest. You don't need a gun yet. We're going to get you a gun. But what you need first is lessons. You need to get with a firearms instructor.
The places I've gone to, they require that you do lessons if you buy a gun from them.
Well, what you need is lessons first. You need to find a good instructor, and you may want to talk to 2 or 3 different instructors because you want a one-on-one instructor. You don't want a class with a bunch of people. And you want somebody you can say, look, I'm afraid of loud noises. I don't like that. And if he or she doesn't come up with this idea, here's my suggestion there, is you want to double up on, and look, guns are loud. There's no way around it. A quiet gun is a gun that doesn't work. So, I mean, they're just loud. What you want to do is use ear plugs and ear muffs both. So you put the little foamy plugs in your ears, and then you put ear muffs on top, and that really helps reduce the noise. So that will help. And then just say, look, I don't have a lot of hand strength. Let's try a number of different guns and have this instructor provide guns or the shooting range where you can rent guns, try some different ones. And you'll see real quickly, okay, I don't like that one. Yeah, that might work. Oh, okay, that one. Yeah, that makes sense. I can do that one. And only then are you ready to buy a gun. Because right now it's like somebody who's never driven a car and you're going to tell them what kind of car they need. Well,
I got
You need to make that decision. And you're right. People are going to have so many different ideas and suggestions for you. They are going to have all this advice for you. You have to make the decision yourself. So find yourself a firearms instructor. Talk to him or her. There are a lot of female firearms instructors now. Go out, do a little shooting, try some different guns. At that point, you'll start to get a sense of what you like, what you don't like, and then you can move to buying a gun. But buying a gun first, almost always you end up with the wrong one. So that would be my suggestion to you. And atta girl, way to go for you. By the way, we're going to send you a gift card to Brownells. And once you go on their website, you'll go, wow, look at all this cool stuff. All kind of fun stuff at Brownells. So there you go. All right, 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here, 866-TALK-GUN. Of course, you can shoot me an email, tom@guntalk.com. Don't forget to go to guntalk.com/win to enter for a chance to win a really slick .44 Magnum revolver from Smith & Wesson. A lot of fun stuff going on. It's Mother's Day. Call me with that mother story.
Gun Talk stands for safety, personal responsibility, and common courtesy. To be a part of the show, call 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Gun Talk will be right back.
All right, got to get this call in. Line 3, Paul's with us out of Blytheville, Arkansas. Paul, John, I've been watching this story on the web. Talk to me.
Yes, I'm looking at an article posted by the Daily Caller. A woman was in a car accident in Fort Collins, Colorado, taken to the hospital. The police secured her firearm, her pistol. Now they won't give it back because they do not have anybody to run a federal firearms license background check at the Fort Collins Police Department.
Because Colorado passed the so-called universal background check, which means even private sales, any kind of transfer of a gun requires a background check going through an FFL. Two things. One is this is what we've told people was going to happen, is that a lot of people are not going to be able to get the transfer. Number two is this is such a bogus story, it's unbelievable. The fact that the Fort Collins Police Department would say, well, we can't give her back her gun because we don't have somebody with an FFL on our staff. What a load of crap. You know, there are probably a dozen gun stores in the area who would say, we will handle this transfer for free. All you have to do is get the gun over here. We will do the background check. We will transfer it back to this lady for you. End of story. Somebody at the police department is not playing straight with this.
I'm inclined to agree because by that reasoning, every stolen gun they recover, they won't be able to return. Fort Collins is a real city. Can you imagine how many small-town police forces would be happy to use this excuse?
In the studio, Jim says, yeah, well, if that's the case, then the cops should have had an FFL to take the gun in the first place because that was a transfer.
Thanks, Tom. I thought you'd love that story, though.
All right. Thanks, John. I appreciate that. Line 4, Janet's with us out of Colorado Springs, speaking of Colorado. Hello, Janet.
Hi, I was just listening to that about Fort Collins. You know, we were pretty stupid here electing those officials to Denver that did this with our gun laws here in the state of Colorado. We're so glad we kicked 2 of them out, okay?
Keep working on it. Get rid of the rest of them.
Yeah, we're trying. Believe me, the next election, we're working on it. I grew up a city girl. I met my husband back in the early 60s. We got married. He was a farm boy from northern Michigan. He taught me how to shoot and how to hunt and how to fish. I shot my first cow elk with a .243.
Wonderful.
And he showed me where to hit her to get the heart, and I did. Okay. I have shot elk, deer, and enjoy eating them immensely. It is so much better than beef.
And I'm going to have to fast forward this a little bit because we're getting short on time. You want to get a concealed carry gun, I take it.
Yeah, I have a concealed carry. I'm looking for a gun. I was looking at a Glock 19, but I think it's a little bit too heavy for my wrist because I'm a senior citizen. I got some arthritis. I have heard about that Smith & Wesson 380 Bodyguard, but I've tried a P.K. Roberts 380, and it fits the palm of my hand well because I have a wide palm. Right. And I'm wondering, what is the difference between the Smith & Wesson and the Roberts?
It's pretty much a case of feel. It's just you got to put it in your hand and try to feel. I'm also going to suggest you try 2 others that just pop into mind right off the bat. One is the Smith & Wesson Shield and the Springfield Armory XDS. It's XD and then Sam, S as in Sam.
Okay.
Both of those are smaller, not as small as the little 380s, a little bit bigger, a little easier to shoot. Concealable, but again, how concealable, it kind of depends on how you got to carry. But the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard I like, but honestly, on all of these, you have to get one in your hands, say, okay, I like the feel of it, I don't like the feel of it. That's the first thing. If you don't like the feel of it, put it down, don't worry about it. Just don't come back to it because you're not going to be happy with it. But the Shield, the XDS are kind of that subcompact but not tiny pocket guns. And I find them to be really, really shootable and very good. And rent a couple of guns. Go to a place that can rent guns. Get with an instructor is always a good idea. Rent some guns, try them, shoot them. And in the end, you're going to come away saying, oh, okay, hate that one, kind of like that one, and that one over there is sweet. The one when you say sweet, put your money down, throw the plastic down, that's the gun for you, get the right holster for it, and then go back and buy some more training because self-defense is really more about training than it is the gun.
No black helicopters here, just the facts about gun rights and gun ownership. This is Gun Talk.